prove that having sex can help with weight loss. I had planned to take advantage of my status as the heiress, to forcefully claim 365 beast husbands, and experience the thrill of being a bride every day, and changing grooms every night. But I never expected to be framed as a fake heiress. Not only was I only assigned 5 disabled beast wives, but my engagement was also annulled, and I was expelled from the family. After learning that my beloved had married the real heiress, I vented my anger by tormenting the beast wives every day. Not only did I abuse the fox prince, locking him in a cage, I also skinned the wolf king to make a fur coat, and even plucked all the scales off the handsome black snake. In the end, I even sold the 3 dying beast husbands, just as the original host was preparing for another round of abuse. While searching for ingredients in the wild, a lightning strike brought Kiana's soul into her body. I have taken over this body. My wife, I am ready. Please proceed, Kiana. In a daze, she heard a voice as cold and clear as jade striking stone. Following the sound, she saw an exquisitely beautiful man covered in bloody scars. His features were like a painting, his skin a pale, icy white. Jet black hair half concealed his face, the stark contrast of black and white creating an ethereal, almost demonic visual impact. What do you mean by proceed? Still disoriented from just having transmigrated, Chiana stammered. Hanjin looked at Chiana and set down a tray filled with thick, long needles. Since these tools are unworthy of my wife's refined tastes, how about trying these instead? He then picked up another set of tools from the side and raised them. Please choose freely, my wife. Hanjin can endure it. Chiana froze for a moment, only to see an array of blush-inducing, forbidden instruments. She shrieked in fright and took a step back. What kind of place is this? Just then, a mechanical voice rang out. Host, you are currently a vicious female beast. You must redeem yourself and heal your blackened beast husbands. Only then will this world survive. And only then will you, the host, live well. So don't be afraid. Host, go for it. Chiana twitched at the mechanical voice. Go for what? First, tell me who he is. Hanjin is the heir of the Peacock clan. Later, his wings were broken, his powers sealed, and he was tossed to you like trash to be your beast husband. The original host despised him as a useless waste and abused him daily as a punching bag. Chiana listened to these words, and suddenly, the original host's memories flooded her mind. At that moment, Hanjin's eyes carried an extreme sense of danger as he looked at Chiana. If the wife is dissatisfied with all of this, then you can use this knife to stab Hanjin. Perhaps the wife will feel better. As he spoke, Hanjin took out a dagger and handed it to her. Chiana carefully accepted the dagger and placed it far away. Then, she took out the medical kit from the beginner's gift pack. I was wrong before. I shouldn't have treated you like that. Your injuries are so severe, let me stop the bleeding and treat your wounds first. To show her sincerity, Chiana softened her voice, trying to appear more kind. But as she approached, Hanjin couldn't help but recoil violently. His eyes filled with unconcealed disgust. Yet, Hanjin suddenly smiled cold and elegant. It seems the wife has tried a new tactic. As long as the wife is happy. The words sounded like a lover's whisper. Hearing this, Chiana felt a chill seep into her body. Her hand holding the medicine bottle even trembled slightly. The system had warned her of another way to die. Being tortured to death by the blackened beast husbands. Using the original host's methods but with doubled cruelty. She had no intention of enduring that. So, Chiana forced herself to smile even more sincerely. She poured out some medicinal powder and began applying it to Hanjin's wounds. While applying the ointment, my fingers naturally and accidentally brushed against his skin. If you want to touch me, just say it. No need to torment me like this. Kiana's hand trembled slightly upon hearing these words. The bottle in her hand suddenly fell to the ground. She hurriedly picked it up. Thankfully, the medicine powder hadn't spilled. She couldn't afford anything from the system's mall right now. Frowning, Chiana glared at Hanjin with clear dissatisfaction. I went through a lot of trouble to get this medicine. Hanjin stared ahead, Meeting Kiana's clear, innocent gaze, as if sensing something strange, she lowered her head to look, only to find that her previous wound had stopped bleeding. Stop kneeling and sit up, it'll be easier for me to apply the medicine. Hanjin seemed unconvinced by Kiana's words, and remained kneeling silently. Every slight smile and better attitude meant thinking of even crueler ways to torment them. Before she sold Ye Hensang and the other three, her attitude toward them had also suddenly become extremely kind. Yet Hanjin smirked faintly and said, "Has the wife suddenly grown concerned about Hanjin's injuries? Is it because you think Hanjin's covered in wounds and won't fetch a good price?" Kiana's head buzzed as she thought for a moment. Recalling the deeds of her past self, she didn't know how to explain. "Don't worry, I won't sell you. I just genuinely want to treat your wounds. I'll also earn money to buy back Ye Hensang and the other three." Upon hearing this, Hanjin's face darkened with suspicion, but he still slowly rose to his feet, though likely due to severe illness. And kneeling for too long, he fainted outright. No matter how Chiana called, there was no response. She carefully reached out to check Hanjin's breath. Finding faint signs of life, she finally relaxed. After applying medicine to Hanjin's wounds, she sighed in relief and prepared to rest as well. Suddenly, Chiana remembered. There was still a disabled beast husband with eye problems. Kneeling in the yard, she hurried out of the house and saw a man with his eyes wrapped in silk. At that moment, the system automatically explained, Chandler is a white whale beastman. His eyes are injured, and his body is exceptionally weak. Ginseng also frequently torments him, so this person was literally on the verge of death. Hearing this, Chiana hurriedly tried to help Chandler up. But just as she was about to reach him, even without seeing, his hand automatically avoided her touch. Cold and aloof, he looked utterly disgusted. Kiana's movements froze instantly. She was being rejected, but right now, she had no choice but to stubbornly push through and try to whitewash her image. She could only steady herself and say, "Chandler, stop kneeling and go inside to rest." Hearing these words, Chandler slowly turned around. If she didn't know he had an eye condition, Chiana would have thought he was looking straight at her. Chandler didn't move, as if he didn't believe her. Chiana could only force herself to be patient, and continued, "If you keep kneeling in the rain like this, you'll get sick and won't be able to work. Hurry back inside to avoid the rain, or you'll catch a cold." Talking like this fit her vicious persona better. If she suddenly spoke kindly to Chandler, he'd probably suspect she had some ulterior motive. Only after hearing these words did Chandler slowly rise and go inside. Seeing this, Chiana followed him in. "They despise me so much. How am I supposed to stop them from turning dark, let alone whitewash myself and heal their minds and bodies?" The system encouraged her. "Host, you're good at cooking. As the saying goes, to win a man's heart, you must first win his stomach. Host, you can start with a food-based strategy." Mentioning food, Chiana suddenly realized she was hungry. "After looking around, all I found was a bit of cornmeal and 2 eggs." The system spoke up. The original owner spent all her silver on makeup. Now, the 2 frail husbands left at home are sickly and disabled. There's no hope of them earning money to support the family. The host will just have to step up herself. At this point, Chiana suddenly remembered this body's appearance. She hurriedly picked up a mirror to look. The sight shocked her to the core. Swollen eyes, a big nose, and a flat bridge. An obese body with a dark, ugly face. Good heavens! How could she be this hideous? It's practically eye-gouging. With this face, seduction is even more impossible. She almost threw up. The host looks like this because she's poisoned. This body was originally very beautiful. You can sell things in the mall. Save up enough points to buy a weight loss pill and a detox pill to restore your original appearance. Chiana quickly checked the pills in the mall. Seeing the required points, her lips twitched. She can't afford them for now. But the place she lives is backed by a mountain. She can go up tomorrow to forage for wild goods to sell. Just as Chiana was muttering to herself, she sensed a sudden chill in the air. She instinctively turned to look. And there, she saw Chandler. "What are you doing here? And why are you walking without a sound?" Startled, Chiana stumbled backward. Her reflex was to grab onto Chandler, even thinking about asking him to give me a hand. But Chandler stood still without moving a muscle. With a faint smile, she just huddled to the ground like that, looking at Chandler standing still without any reaction. An uncomfortable feeling welled up in her heart. Even if Chandler couldn't see, he could at least hear the sound. So he should have asked about it, right? But he just poured a glass of water and then turned to leave. The system seemed to sense Kiana's low spirits, afraid she might go on strike, and hurriedly encouraged her. "Host, you must believe that the colder and more heartless a person is, once they're conquered, they'll treat you exceptionally well." "I guess that's all I can do," Chiana sighed. Using the last of the food, she made a bowl of noodle soup. After finishing, she carried the food into Chandler's room. "This is dinner. Eat it while it's hot. Don't worry. There's no poison or drugs in it." With that, she left and returned to the living room. Chandler took a deep look at the living room through the white cloth covering her. He smelled the fragrance, a look of surprise appearing on his face. This was Kiana's first time cooking in person. Having starved all day, Chandler naturally wouldn't turn down food. After taking a bite of the cornmeal, his movements paused, and his expression turned incredulous. Early the next morning, just as Chiana finished making breakfast, she saw Chandler walk in carrying 2 buckets of water on a shoulder pole. He muttered to himself, didn't expect a cripple to be so efficient at chores. Must have some hidden ability, so he can still manage household tasks normally. "I made breakfast, including yours. Want to eat together?" Chandler eyed Chiana warily. Filled with suspicion, she actually woke up early to cook. She used to sleep in until the sun was high in the sky. Then she would go to the tavern in the county to eat. These past 2 days, she hasn't gone out, probably because she spent all her silver. Seeing Chandler hadn't moved, Chiana didn't feel like waiting for him either. "Then I'll eat first." After this meal, there wouldn't be a single grain of food left at home. After Chiana cleaned up her bowl and chopsticks, she carried a basket on her back, took her tools, and headed up the mountain. Right now, she needed to solve 2 problems. One was having food to eat. The other was making money. First, she gathered a lot of mushrooms to sell to the system mall and exchanged them for 36 points. While digging for mushrooms, Chiana discovered a large patch of konjac. This made her unable to contain her excitement. Such a huge patch. She could go back and make konjac tofu. She could stir-fry it or even make konjac snacks. She could even sell konjac snacks. Thinking of this, Chiana was full of motivation. She started digging and digging. But this body was just too fat. Even a little work made her feel exhausted. She desperately needed to lose weight. So she discussed it with the system to split the purchase of the weight loss pill and the detox pill. Fortunately, the system was quite accommodating and agreed to Chiana's request. By noon, Chiana carried a basket full of konjac home. Seeing Chiana's figure, the female beast folk working in the fields instantly gathered together and started gossiping. "Am I seeing things?" The lazy and gluttonous Chiana actually had a day when he went up the mountain. "Of course. There's no mistake. He's the only female beast in our tribe who's that fat. Their village is quite poor. They often don't have enough to eat. Both female and male beasts are skinny. Chiana is the only exception, the only fat one." Chiana has extremely sharp hearing. Naturally, he overheard these people's conversation. But he paid them no mind. They just love gossiping about others when they have nothing better to do. And he happens to be the gossip hub of this dull countryside, the cat tribe's gossip center. By the time Chiana returned home, Hanjin was already awake. At the moment, he was chopping firewood in the yard. Chiana waved at Hanjin. "You're awake." Hanjin glanced at him with a faint smile. "I woke up. My wife treated my injuries last night. My body feels much better now." "That's good. The firewood you chopped today should be enough. Take a rest first, don't overwork yourself." Hanjin didn't stop his movements. "Wife, you jest. Chopping more firewood means we can sell it in town. One bundle sells for 5 coins. Chiana was shocked. Had they really fallen to relying on selling firewood to survive? But then again, with 2 frail and disabled husbands, they couldn't possibly venture deep into the mountains to hunt. He forced a stiff smile. I've prepared some food. We won't go hungry. Just then, a voice came from the doorway. Young Master Bai. He accidentally fell in Toth River by the riverside. Pulled out but Alradined breathing. What the hell? The axe in Hanjin's hand fell to the ground with a thud. He didn't care about anything else and rushed toward the riverbank. Chiana immediately sprinted after him toward the river. By now, quite a crowd had gathered by the river. The beastmen who had been washing clothes there earlier were all crowded around Chianler, accusing Chiana of being vicious, forcing someone like young Master Bai, who had eye problems, to wash clothes every day. But as soon as Hanjin reached the riverbank, he saw Chianler lying motionless on the ground. He stepped forward and lightly checked for a pulse, only to confirm there was no breath left. His fingers trembled slightly at the realization. Chiana finally arrived, panting heavily. But they saw Hanjin's face filled with coldness and loathing. Are you happy now that he's dead? Hanjin's voice carried a hint of killing intent. However, Chiana couldn't afford to care about that right now. He directly climbed onto Chianler and began administering emergency measures. Oh my god, even in this state, he's even going to defile young Master Bai's corpse. Everyone looked at Chiana with disgust and hatred. Chiana ignored them. They only saw his hands pressing down with all his strength repeatedly. Then he performed CPR. Someone couldn't take it anymore and was about to intervene, when suddenly, Chianler coughed and spat out water. This scene stunned everyone present. The picturesque brows of Zhu Hanjin froze for a moment. He just stared fixedly at Chiana. Meanwhile, Chiana, seeing Chianler breathing again, finally let out a slow sigh of relief. The moment Chianler opened his eyes, he met Chiana's gaze. Those glass-like translucent eyes were breathtakingly beautiful, making Chiana's breath hitch, almost drowning in them. Chianler's gaze drifted downward. Only then did Chiana realize he was still sitting on top of him. He hurriedly rolled off. I was just trying to save you in a hurry. I didn't mean to. But it's great that you're awake now. Don't come to the river to wash clothes anymore. After waking up, Chianler sat up and tried to stand. Chiana wanted to help, but then remembered how disdainful he'd been the day before. He withdrew his hand again. Seeing this, Hong Jing stepped forward to help him up. Chianler stood up. He cupped his hands and bowed deeply. Thank you, wife master, for saving my life just now. No need for such formality. You are my beast husband. Saving you is what I ought to do. Your health has always been frail. You should go home and rest first. As soon as the words were spoken, an elderly female beast approached. Miss Kion, could you teach the method you just used to save someone to our cat tribe village? Don't worry, everyone will compensate you for learning it. Grandma Lin, if everyone is willing to learn, I'll teach them right away. After Qian Zhao finished instructing the group, she finally returned home with the 2 young women. Once back, Qian Zhao exchanged for a pack of cold medicine and carried it into Chianler's room. As soon as she entered, she saw Chianler, fresh out of the shower. His faintly visible chest carried an indescribable allure. Her face instantly flushed. Is this kind of scene even something a freeloader like me should be seeing? Is there something you need, wife? His faint smile snapped her back to reality. She quickly turned away. Sorry. I didn't mean to look. If my wife wants to look, Qianlua will naturally comply. That ever-neutral voice rang in her ears. Chiana felt like there was no way to clear her name now. And no, I brewed some medicine for you. Drink it while it's hot, it'll help prevent colds. Don't worry, I didn't drug it. I know. If my wife wanted to harm me, she wouldn't have saved me. Put your clothes on first. Chianler, seeing her so flustered, curved his lips into a faint smile. After all, he was never one to shy away. Or had he changed? Back when he was unconscious by the river, he'd actually been aware. He could feel the warm, sweet breath against his lips. Even after bathing, the sensation lingered. My wife saved me. I wonder if she intends to plunder me now? Chiana was about to explain, but Chandler simply removed his robe without hesitation. She hastily covered her eyes. No need to say more. Then she fled back to her room. Once inside, she downed several glasses of cold water. Only then did Chiana manage to calm herself. Poor Chandler, facing this fat and ugly body of mine. How could you still say such things? Chiana couldn't help but sympathize with Chandler. After all this commotion, he now felt hungry too. So he went back to the kitchen, took out the green rice cakes made that morning, and called his two beast husbands out to eat together. The three of them sat together. This was a situation that had never occurred before. Chiana focused on eating the green rice cakes were delicious. Seeing Chiana's satisfied expression, Chandler didn't hesitate and took a bite. It was unexpectedly so tasty. Zhu Hanjin also took a bite, but then stared at Chiana with a gloomy expression. These are poisonous mushrooms from the mountain. Chiana had been eating quite contentedly until then. Hearing Hanjin say those words out of the blue, his eating movements froze. Are you suspecting that I'm trying to poison you all with toxic mushrooms? Chiana glared at Hanjin angrily, cursing inwardly. This damn man actually thinks I'm trying to kill him. Seeing his furious expression, Hanjin suddenly smiled gracefully. If my wife wishes, wishing for Hanjin's life, a single strike would suffice. There's no need to torment with poison. Watching Chiana on the verge of fainting from anger, the system quickly stepped in to console its host. The reason Hanjin's body is so weak is because his previous self once poisoned him. So now he has psychological trauma. Besides, everyone here believes mushrooms are toxic and inedible. So, host, you should probably explain properly. Hearing the system's words, Chiana finally calmed down. However, he noticed Chandler elegantly and earnestly eating the green dumplings, not suspecting poisoning in the slightest. Only then did his expression soften slightly. Then, patiently, he explained, "These are shiitake mushrooms, non-toxic. I've already had a few bites myself. If you're still uneasy, you can wait a while to see if anything happens to me." After speaking, he handed one to Chandler. "One won't fill you up, have some more." Chandler accepted it. "Thank you, wife. No need for such politeness. Once we've earned some money, I'll take you to a doctor to heal your eyes." Chandler's eating movements paused, but he didn't respond. Hanjin heard Chiana's words. A suspicious look flashed in his eyes. It seemed that since last night, he had become different. At this moment, Hanjin suddenly remembered something. That was last night. Chiana seemed to have been struck by lightning and passed out. After he woke up, he had completely changed into a different person. His manner of speaking, behavior, and even his gaze were all different. As if realizing something, Hanjin, a smile instantly appeared in his eyes. "The food my wife worked hard to make shouldn't go to waste. In the future, if my wife cooks, you can call me to help." Hanjin's sudden change in attitude made Chiana's skin crawl. This was all very not normal. He didn't respond. Instead, he just kept his head down and ate. After finishing his meal, Chandler got up to clear the table and wash the dishes. Chiana then went to the courtyard and began cleaning and processing the konjac. Just then, Hanjin finished tidying the house and came out. He happened to see the konjac placed to the side. His face instantly changed. "Wife, be careful. This thing is poisonous." Hanjin's sudden concern made Chiana feel a bit unaccustomed. Still, he patiently explained, "This is konjac. Once processed, it won't be poisonous. And when made into konjac jelly, it can even be sold at the market. Wife, you can rest a bit. Leave this work to me." If someone was willing to do the work, he naturally wouldn't refuse. "First, help me burn more plant ash." Hanjin responded with a yes upon hearing the voice. Chandler in the house also came to his side. "My wife, let me handle these." As he spoke, his figure swayed and he began to collapse toward the ground. Chiana quickly rose to catch Chandler. "Chandler, are you all right?" Chiana's face turned pale. "Please don't let anything be wrong." Otherwise, people might think his food was poisoned. As Chandler fell, a gentle breeze coincidentally blew away the white cloth covering his eyes, revealing those strikingly clear pupils. Chandler endured the discomfort of dizziness and slowly got up. "My wife, I'm fine. I just felt a bit dizzy earlier." Chandler slowly let out a sigh of relief. "You might still be unwell from just having fallen into the water. Hurry back inside and rest." "But I need to help my wife with her tasks. How can I let my wife work so hard on these things?" Chandler quickly waved his hands in refusal. After much coaxing and persuasion, he finally managed to get Chandler to rest inside. Only after bringing Chandler back to the room did he let out a sigh of relief. He sat down and continued working. Hanjin, watching from the side, seemed lost in thought. In the past, Chandler would rather faint on the ground than collapse onto him. Once his wife had finished preparing the plant ash, Chandler smiled and thanked her. A faint smile curled at the corner of Hanjin's lips. How rare for him to say thank you. "What should we do next? Please give your instructions, wife." Chandler froze for a moment. He couldn't shake the feeling that Hanjin had been acting strangely since dinner. But whatever his intentions were, as long as he was willing to help, it was fine. He asked Hanjin to boil some water and filter the plant ash solution. With that, Hanjin went to do as instructed. Chandler wanted to slice the konjac, but the household didn't have a grater, so he could only find a wooden stick and start mashing it. When Hanjin finished filtering, he saw how hard Chandler was working and offered to help. Chandler looked at Hanjin with doubt in his eyes. "Can you even do it?" The moment the words left his mouth, he noticed a playful curve forming at the corner of Hanjin's lips. Leaning down slightly, Hanjin brought his lips close to Kiana's ear. "Whether I can or not, my wife can find out for herself." Kiana startled and quickly took several steps back, handing the wooden stick over to Hanjin. "I think you must be very capable. This will be hard work for you. They all need to be crushed." Seeing that Kiana didn't catch the implied meaning in his words, Hanjin could only shake his head helplessly. Then he began using a wooden stick to crush the konjac slices. With Hanjin's help, Kiana felt a bit more at ease. However, he didn't plan on staying idle at the moment. He rummaged through the cabinets and found many of the original owner's clothes. Kiana planned to cut them up to make a few cartoon fabric pieces. If there was no cotton, mugwort could be used as a substitute. Before long, he had made 6 small round fabric pieces. Just as he was about to go to the yard to gather some mugwort, he heard lively commotion at the door. It turned out to be villagers who had come to express their gratitude for Chiana teaching them first aid methods. They specifically brought food like eggs, noodles, and scallions, left them at the door, and then hurried away. Looking at these things, Chiana felt warmth in his heart. Everyone was so kind. Now dinner was settled. Just then, Hanjin returned carrying firewood. Chiana looked up and suddenly froze, gazing at Hanjin's picturesque beauty and gentle demeanor. He felt that Hanjin must be a noble young master who shouldn't be doing such rough and humble work. Hanjin noticed the sympathy in his eyes. He didn't want his wife to look down on him. The two of them stared at each other awkwardly, until finally, Chiana broke the silence. "These are things the villagers brought over. With these ingredients, we can have a full meal tonight." After saying this with a faint smile, Chiana carried the items into the house. Hanjin set down the firewood and also came to help. Seeing that the sky was about to darken, Chiana couldn't spare the time to make cloth dolls anymore. Instead, he focused on preparing dinner first. He rinsed the rice and put it in the pot, while Hanjin took the initiative to grab some licorice roots and firewood and went to the kitchen to help light the fire. Chiana hurriedly picked out the dried mugwort. "Don't use this for firewood. I need it." Hanjin nodded in agreement. As he picked up more licorice roots, Kiana's sharp eyes spotted a few strands of rush grass mixed in. "Where did these come from?" "There's plenty by the river. I cut some to use as kindling." Kiana's eyes instantly brightened. He planned to weave the rush grass into handicrafts to sell. Seeing Chiana eager to rush to the riverbank, Hanjin grabbed his wrist abruptly. "Wife, don't go yet. If it's urgent, I'll cut some more for you after the water boils." Only after speaking did Hanjin realize. He had instinctively grabbed Kiana's wrist. But strangely, there was none of the expected disgust or rejection. Just now, he hadn't wanted him to go to the river. Something was off. How could he possibly worry about him slipping and falling into the water? Chiana, of course, had no idea about Hanjin's shifting thoughts. His mind was entirely occupied with how to weave beautiful grass crafts. Then I'll trouble you with that. After dinner's ready, Chiana knocked on Kianler's room door. He hesitated for a moment. Still, he decided to open the door and take a look inside. After entering the room, he found Chianler lying quietly on the bed. Chiana couldn't help but reach out to touch her forehead, to check if she had a fever. But just as luck would have it, Chianler suddenly opened her eyes and woke up, with his hand still resting on her forehead, as if he were attempting something improper that, haha. I didn't mean to do anything to you. I was just worried you might have a fever and something bad could happen. So I wanted to check, Chiana hurriedly explained. But Chinler's expression made it clear she didn't believe a word he said. No need to explain, wife. Whatever wife wishes to do, it would be Qianlu's honor. Qianluo will gladly comply. Mistress can go on, my ass. Chiana sighed helplessly. No need. Dinner's ready. You should get up and eat first. After saying that, he hurriedly left Chinler's room. He glanced toward the fence gate again. Hanjin hadn't returned yet from cutting grass by the river. The sky was almost dark, and he couldn't help but feel a little worried. Please don't end up like Qianler. If something happens, I'm really screwed. When Hanjin returned from cutting grass, the first thing he saw was Chiana anxiously looking around by the gate. His steps faltered, and his calm heartstrings seemed to be gently plucked by something. He never expected that in this world someone would actually be waiting for him with concern. By the time Hanjin reached the gate, Chiana flashed him a bright smile. It's good that you're back. I just finished making dinner. Wash your hands first, then eat. Hearing these caring words, Hanjin let out a soft sigh. Ever since being cast out of the family, no one had waited for him to come home. Kiana's heart suddenly trembled. Softening her tone, she said, I made fried rice with eggs tonight. And konjac dishes. Once things at home improve, I'll make other dishes for you. She believed good food could heal the heart. Soon, the three of them sat at the table to eat. Hanjin and Qianler didn't touch their chopsticks, waiting for Chiana to eat first. It's delicious. Eat without worry. The konjac's been properly prepared, it's not toxic. Hearing this, the two finally began eating. Both praised the taste, surprised that even coarse rice could be so flavorful. Hanjin tentatively asked, May I ask how the lady of the house learned these things? Chiana noticed the suspicion in his eyes and spun a tale on the spot. I learned this from a master I once studied under, but the old man has long since passed away. Afraid they'd press further, Chiana cut off Hanjin's questions entirely. After dinner, Hanjin and Qianler took care of the dishes, while Chiana continued preparing konjac. Once finished, she immediately set to work making stuffed dolls, then wove many delicate and beautiful grass braids. She didn't rest until late into the night. Outside the house, two beasts watched as the oil lamp went out. A thoughtful expression appeared on his face. This was the first time he saw his wife working late into the night before going to bed. After spending these past few days together, they all noticed that Chiana seemed like a completely different person. The fact that you're willing to get close to him today means you're testing the waters too, right? Qianler naturally understood the meaning behind his words. Such matters shouldn't be spoken of carelessly, it would only cause trouble for their wife. There were plenty of people who wanted him dead. Hanjin's expression shifted slightly. Don't worry, I just mentioned it to you. I actually hope our wife stays like this and never reverts to how she was before. The next morning, after Chiana finished breakfast, he prepared to set up a stall in the city. Both of his frail husbands insisted on accompanying him to the hospital. He had originally planned to go to the market alone, but since they were willing to come along, he agreed. Though the two were sickly and disabled, their striking beauty was undeniable. Just standing there, they might help attract more customers to his stall. When Chiana and the two arrived in the county town, they happened to overhear some gossip. Discussions about how his former self had sold off that fox beast husband. From their words they learned that the fox beast father, Tushen Fiking, had been sold to Nanfang Pavilion to perform. This morning was his first stage appearance. Hanjin naturally also heard the passers-by cursing Chiana. Wife, don't be angry. Chiana's mindset was calm. After all, these weren't things he had done himself. He didn't care what these people said. At this moment, the system reminded Chiana to earn money as soon as possible, to redeem Tushen Fiking. Otherwise, the more performances he gives, the worse his corruption will become. Chianler, standing nearby, didn't know that Chiana was currently communicating with the system. Seeing his quiet demeanor, she thought he was sad because of those words. Wife, are you going to the market? No. Let's stroll around here first. When they passed by Nanfang Tower, they saw many female beasts crowded at the entrance, excitedly discussing Tushen Fiking inside the building. Chiana looked up and happened to meet the gaze of an extraordinarily beautiful man by the second-floor window. His pale brown lips moved slightly, carrying a faint, elusive charm. But Chiana felt that his smile was like poisoned honey, extremely dangerous. Yet, after just a moment, he was gone. System, are you sure I won't get killed if I redeem him? Host, just redeem him first. Once he's back, you can win him over with food. Look, even these two thin husbands are willing to talk to you now. Isn't that progress? Before long, Chiana set up a stall opposite a tavern, selling spicy konjac snacks delicious and fair for all. Just 5 coins per bowl, with a free exquisite grass weaving included. Many people had come to the county today to watch Tushen Fiking's performance, and quite a few spice lovers couldn't resist gathering around to take a look. At this moment, Chiana picked up a piece of konjac snack. He handed it to the woman at the front, indicating she could try a piece first. If she liked it, she could buy more later. At first, she still wore a picky expression. But when she actually tasted it, she only felt an intense, spicy flavor stimulating her taste buds, leaving an endless aftertaste. Fusi revealed an intoxicated expression and said, "Give me a bowl." "No, 1 bowl is too little, give me 3. Seeing Fusi's reaction, Chiana sighed in relief. Thank goodness. The konjac snack still suited the taste of this world's beast folk. At this time, Hanjin and Chianler stood nearby watching, completely unable to intervene. They hadn't expected Chiana to converse with everyone so naturally. Chiana, who had just earned his first bucket of gold in business, was thrilled. Now he was no longer completely penniless. Afterward, he gifted 3 woven grass items to Fusi. Later, almost everyone who tasted it bought several bowls to take home. Soon, the woven grass gifts ran out. Someone noticed the cloth dolls nearby at a glance, and their eyes lit up with admiration. Wow, these are so pretty. If there are no more grass weavings, then give me one of these instead. Chiana politely refused, because making these cloth dolls was quite labor-intensive. Instead, he sold 2 to them for 40 coins, in less than an hour. Both the konjac snacks and the cloth dolls were completely sold out. Just as they were packing up, Feng Wankin, who owned the Jingxiu fabric store, rushed over. She expressed interest in Chiana's handmade cloth dolls, wanting to cooperate with them. Can accept the requirement of paying a deposit. After Chiana heard this, he gladly agreed to this collaboration intention. After all, he urgently needed money right now. With business coming to his doorstep naturally, he had to seize it quickly. Soon, the two negotiated the specific details. Chiana would provide 10 pieces of cloth daily, each for 20 coins, settled day by day. The first batch totaled 200 pieces. After leaving Jingxiu cloth shop, a smile appeared on Chiana's face. Today's stall earnings plus the deposit amounted to 980 coins in total. Hanjin and Chianler, upon hearing this number, both showed extremely shocked expressions. To earn so much in just one day. See, I told you we could make money. We'll redeem Tushen Fiking and the others. and won't mistreat you all anymore in the future. Later, we'll go buy some groceries and make something delicious for lunch at home today. Zhu Hanjin spoke softly. I believe our wife was just a little surprised earlier. Actually, I can also do needlework. So if it's about making cloth dolls, I can help. Chiana widened his eyes in surprise. He couldn't imagine a stunningly beautiful man sitting there, threading a needle. That would be wonderful. If you help me make cloth dolls, I'll be able to prepare more delicious food. He couldn't just sell spicy contact snacks. He needed to make more dishes to sell. Chandler, standing to the side, also spoke leisurely. Our wife has worked hard today. In my current state, I can't do needlework, but I can help the wife handle the konjac. He didn't refuse Hanjin and Chandler's assistance, because doing so would indeed make things much easier for him. All right, then thank you both. Next, let's go buy some things first. By the way, is there anything you'd like to eat or buy? Hanjin and Chandler both froze for a moment. They seemed quite surprised by his question. What? Did I say something wrong? Chiana blinked his eyes, looking utterly adorable. It even made Hanjin feel the urge to pat his head. Realizing this thought, his expression darkened. He was supposed to despise him. How could he have such an idea now? Hanjin coughed lightly, masking the unnatural shift in his demeanor. Nothing's wrong. It's just that the wife never used to ask for our opinions before. So when you suddenly ask like this, I don't know how to respond. Soon after, both of them stated they had nothing they wanted to buy. They'd leave everything to the wife's discretion. Chiana didn't press them further. Instead, he took them to the grain shop to buy provisions. After browsing around, they spent 480 coins on soybeans, wheat, and japonica rice. Fine flour and pork belly were purchased on the way back. When they passed a small path lined with locust trees, Chiana decided to pick a few flowers to make stuffed buns. Then, rolling up his sleeves, he swiftly climbed up the tree. Hanjin had just set down the basket and was about to fetch a stick. When he suddenly saw this scene, his expression instantly froze. Be careful, my wife. It's fine. Hanjin didn't notice his own heart lifting involuntarily as he approached the tree. He watched nervously, thinking that if the other slipped and fell, he must catch him without fail. Chiana moved swiftly, and before long, the entire tree's locust blossoms were plucked and tossed to the ground. This should be enough. With that, he climbed down from the tree. Hanjin stepped forward, reaching out to steady him. Remember, take it slow, be careful. Chiana was momentarily stunned by Hanjin's actions. After all the previous disdain, why was he now offering a helping hand? Distracted by the thought, Chiana's foot missed its step. The whole person suddenly fell downward. The next second he opened his eyes. He found himself collapsed on Hanjin. Hanjin, crushed under that weight, could barely breathe. Remember, could you get up first? Chiana snapped back to reality and apologized to him. But in the fluster, his leg kicked somewhere unintentionally. Hanjin let out a muffled groan, his face turning pale. Sorry, I didn't mean to. Chiana felt a bit guilty at this moment. With a tinge of remorse, Hanjin looked at Chiana's expression, a faint, relieved smile touching his eyes. It's my fault. I'm too weak, I couldn't hold my wife properly. If my wife wishes once I recover a bit more, perhaps next time I'll manage. Smiling faintly up and hearing these words, realizing Hanjin misunderstood that he fell on purpose, she wanted to get close to him and explain. But when she thought of the things her past self had done, she figured an explanation would probably be useless. So she packed up the acacia flowers and went home. When she got back, Chiana taught Hanjin how to make stuffed toy dolls. After learning, she started making them on her own, and before long, Hanjin came over holding one. Wife, do you think this looks okay? Not bad at all. You did great. Chiana was surprised to find that Hanjin's needlework was even more delicate than her own. Thinking of her circumstances, she couldn't help but feel pity. Wife, what are you thinking about? Chiana's eyelashes fluttered slightly as she asked softly. Were your wings deliberately cut off by someone? Did it hurt a lot? Maybe I should take over. I'll finish it if I work a bit longer tonight. Are you ing me for being disabled, wife? Gianna quickly waved her hands to explain that she wasn't. I absolutely don't you. She had originally intended to show concern for Hanjin, but didn't expect him to misunderstand. Then you keep working on these, but don't overexert yourself. I'll go make lunch. After Chandler finished washing the locust flowers, he entered the kitchen to help Chiana tend the fire. After stewing for about half an hour, the braised pork was ready. Chiana picked up a piece of braised pork and held it to Chandler's lips. Open up and try it, see how it tastes. A crisp, lively tone rang in his ears. Chandler seemed entranced, parting his lips slightly to take a bite. In that instant, the rich, savory texture bloomed on his tongue. It was a delicacy he had never tasted before. Chiana watched him with eyes. How is it? Delicious? Very tasty, truly delicious. Thank you, wife. You don't need to be so polite with me. Though I don't know what you've been through before. I believe there are still many things in this world. Don't punish yourself for others' mistakes. As the saying goes, revenge is a dish best served cold. Hearing this, Chandler stiffened. Ever since his white crystal blood was taken from him, he had wallowed in self-loathing. No one had ever spoken to him like this before. An indescribable emotion surged in Chandler's heart, perhaps stirred by memories of those unbearable. Suddenly he couldn't hold back and coughed up a trace of blood. Chandler, what's wrong with you? Did I say something wrong? Don't worry. I'm fine. It just happens occasionally. It has nothing to do with you, wife. Smiling lightly, he takes out a handkerchief and wipes the blood from the corner of his mouth. Chandler doesn't avoid it. He just stares fixedly at him. Thank you, wife. We're family. No need to be so polite. Rest for a while first. After Chandler returns to his room, he learns from the system that someone stole his talent and blood power. Only the people of the Medicine King Valley can help him recover somewhat. But coincidentally, one of the husbands was sold to the Medicine King Valley. If they were to suggest taking Chandler to the Medicine King Valley now, he probably misunderstood and thought he was also going to be sold to the Valley of Medicinal Herbs. So the top priority is still to get the hostages back first. After lunch, Hanjin had to sew cloth at home. Chiana originally planned to go to the mountains alone. Chandler, however, insisted on going along. Your health isn't good. You should rest more at home. The mountain is dangerous. Wife, do you think I have eye problems? Can't help at all? As he spoke, he took off the hide cloth covering his eyes, looking at the persistent Chandler. With no other choice, Chiana had Nakasi but to take him up the mountain. The two still arrived at the same konjac field as before. With a faint smile, Shep put down the bamboo basket and started digging with all their might. He actually really enjoys doing things like this. As long as it's related to ingredients or gourmet food, his mood would be wonderful. Just as he was immersed in joy of digging up konjac, suddenly, a green snake darted out, suddenly pounced towards Chiana. At this critical moment, Chandler's right hand reached out with precision, grabbed the emerald snake by its vital spot and squeezed hard. Easily took care of this little snake. With a faint smile, her body went limp and she collapsed backward. Chandler stopped Edkina with a single motion, prevent him from falling to the ground. Don't worry. It's okay now. However, there was still no response from Chiana. Chandler seemed to sense that something was off with the person in his arms. Looking down, I saw Faith had his eyes closed. My body is stiff and I don't dare move. Is it okay now? Can you move it farther away? My wife, are you actually afraid of snakes now? But your beast husband, Chimoyan, is a snake beastman. Kiana's eyes snapped open upon hearing this. Only after confirming the snake was nowhere in sight did he let out a sigh of relief. Haha, I haven't forgotten about Chimoyan. It's just that he's usually in human form, so I tend to overlook his true appearance. He offered a lame excuse. Still, thank you for earlier. Let's keep digging up the konjac. No sooner had he spoken than he turned and realized Chandler had already dug up twice as much konjac as he had. Wasn't he supposed to be disabled, sickly, and visually impaired? How is he working faster than me? And earlier, when I was digging, wasn't he just standing off to the side? How did you get here so fast? Could it be that his abilities weren't completely nullified? Chandler asked softly, "Are you really all right, wife?" "I'm fine. I was just startled earlier. I'm better now." With that, the two of them continued digging up konjac. Soon, there was so much konjac that even 2 baskets couldn't hold it all. Chiana used her mind to open the spatial marketplace panel. She directly sold several £100 of konjac. He thought Chandler had acting skills, unable to notice any change. Little did he know, Chandler had already sensed something. Since his wife had secrets she didn't want him to discover, he decided to pretend he knew nothing. After filling both baskets to the brim, the two set off for home. Along the way, they unexpectedly discovered a large grove of peach blossom trees in the valley. There were also walnut and hawthorn trees. They could make even more varieties of delicious food now. At this thought, Kiana's lips curled slightly upward. Her eyes brightened. With these things, Chandler could redeem everyone much sooner. Chiana gently tugged at Chandler's sleeve, wanting to share her joy. Chandler seemed to sense Kiana's mood and softly replied, appearing calm. But the faint hint of a smile at the corner of his lips betrayed his true feelings. Chiana, of course, didn't notice Chandler's subtle change in expression. After sharing her excitement, she crouched down and quickly began gathering walnuts. By the time evening arrived, the two returned home with a full load. Hanjin recognized the sound and knew they had returned. Only then did she relax and snap back to reality. She couldn't believe she had actually been worried. Chiana, her wife, smiled faintly. "I've already finished making 10 dolls. Is there anything else you need help with?" Chiana was utterly surprised upon hearing this. That was much faster than her own pace. She gave a thumbs up in praise, then asked Hanjin to grind the soybeans into soy milk and bring it back. That way, they could make tofu in the evening. Though Hanjin didn't know what grinding soybeans was for, she agreed without hesitation. Meanwhile, Chandler helped process the konjac. Chiana then prepared to make locust flour buns and spicy konjac strips. By the afternoon, the steamed buns were ready. A faint smile graced Hanjin's lips. Go deliver steamed buns to the villagers who sent gifts earlier. As for herself, she went to deliver steamed buns to the original host's parents and brothers. In her memories, his family treated him with utmost sincerity and kindness. Yet the original host always looked down on them for their lowly status, thinking they were nothing but an embarrassment. Hearing Chiana say she was going to her parents' home, Hanjin and Chandler paused their movements for a moment, but quickly composed themselves and softly replied, "All right." Then, Chiana took the basket and headed to her parents' house. However, just as she neared the doorstep, she heard the vicious scolding of a spiteful woman. "You're just the leader of a rundown tribe. How dare your second son try to cling to my L family? You're given face but refuse to take it. Hurry up and return the betrothal to me, you hear that?" A faint smile crossed her face as she recalled that tale of betrothal silver given by the L family. It had already been ruined by the original owner. Now the Keon family couldn't come up with this amount all at once. So Yinzi hopes the L family can extend the deadline for a while. However, the L family refused. They insisted on getting the silver back immediately. Chiana couldn't hold back and stepped forward, saying coldly, "You're really going too far. Do you really think the Keon family has no one left?" When Madame L saw Chiana suddenly appear, she also frowned. Chiana grew up among the nobility in the capital. It said her husband also came from the capital. Her status is not ordinary. If someone there still remembers old TIs and protects Chiana, she wouldn't come out of this unscathed. The reason they betrothed their daughter to Keoner in the first place was because of Chiana. Chiana gave her mother a reassuring look, then turned to face Madame L. "We'll return every tael of silver within 5 days. Now take your people and get the hell out of here. Miss Keon, please remember what you said. Repay the 1 tael of silver within 5 days. From now on, There will be no further ties between my L family and your Keon family. Madame L wore a mocking smile on her face. She turned and left. Mother, it was all my fault before. Don't blame me. From now on, I'll live properly. And please forgive me, Mother. Qian Zhao suppressed her emotions. You're my daughter, how could I blame you? I should blame myself for not protecting you properly back then. Let's not talk about this anymore. You must be hungry, right? I'll go make you some food after the meal. Qian Zhao returned home. By the time she arrived, Hanjin and Qianler had already finished delivering the buns. Qian Zhao cooked 3 bowls of soy milk to go with the buns. I never expected the locust flour buns to be so delicious, Hanjin remarked, unable to resist glancing at Qian Zhao. She couldn't help but feel that her cooking skills were far superior to even the imperial chefs in the capital. It was as if she harbored some profound secret, one that was impossible to decipher. After dinner, everyone worked together to prepare the konjac jelly, then retired for the night. Early the next morning, just as the sky began to lighten, Qian Zhao woke up and washed up. She thought she had woken up early, but to her surprise, Hanjin and Qianler had already finished their tasks. Qianler handed Qian Zhao a bowl of soy milk. My wife has already prepared the soy milk. You've worked hard. She had woken up so early just to make tofu. By the time they finished breakfast, the tofu was ready to be pressed. Look, this is tofu. Zhu Hongjing and Qianler both found it utterly amazing. Had they not seen it with their own eyes, they would never have imagined soybeans could be made into such a dish. Qiana used a small knife to cut a piece into a bowl and handed them chopsticks to try it. Go on, taste it. After taking a bite, both fell silent, unsure just how many more unknown foods Qiana had up her sleeve. By now, they were convinced she truly had the ability to redeem the 3 of them to Shen Feiking and the others. After finishing the tofu, Qiana and the 2 beasts returned to the county town. The moment they arrived at yesterday's stall location, they saw a crowd already packed tightly, waiting to buy konjac snacks. Don't rush. Everyone, today's konjac snacks are plentiful. The cute crowd had come for the konjac snacks. But suddenly, a unique aroma wafted through the air. Little girl, did you bring another dish? There's a really rich fragrance. Qiana opened the wooden box containing the tofu. This is tofu, soft, tender, and fragrant. You can try a piece to see how it tastes. She cut a few small portions with her knife and handed them to the thinner folks at the front. Those who tasted it were stunned by the flavor, praising it endlessly and scrambling to buy. Before long, both the tofu and konjac snacks sold out. After packing up, Qiana delivered the stuffed dolls to the cloth shop. For 4 straight days, she set up her stall in the county, earning 4 taels of silver. On this day, just as Qiana and the others were packing up their stall, the manager of Zuixian Lu arrived at the stall. Young lady, please wait a moment. I think what you make is quite good. My Zuixian Lu would like to buy your food. After some bargaining, Qiana sold the recipe for spicy konjac for 30 taels of silver. Although she could no longer sell spicy konjac afterward, she could still continue her tofu business and develop other foods. Regarding this, Hanjin and Tianler both found it unreal. Who would have thought something like that could sell for 30 taels? Holding the 30 taels in her hand, Qiana finally let out a sigh of relief. All right, now I can go to Nanfang Lu to redeem to Shen Feiking. Meanwhile, in private room number 1 on the 2nd floor of Nanfang Lu, a servant was reporting Qiana's situation to Tu Shen Feiking. As it turned out, Nanfang Lu was one of Tu Shen Feiking's properties. On the surface, it was an entertainment house, but in reality, it was a place the young master used to gather information. His stage performances were also just a cover, because even with a severed tail, there were still people who wanted to harm him. So she dares to come after all. Bring her to my room. I'll talk to her personally. Before long, Qiana was led into Tu Shen Feiking's room. Tu Shen Feiking lounged lazily, his hand lightly propping up his forehead, his fox-like eyes gazing at her with a mesmerizing allure. Qiana felt unnerved under such a gaze. In an instant, There was a feeling of being frozen and suffocated. Wu Shen stared at Qian Zhao without speaking. The corners of his lips curled into a mocking arc, breaking the silence. Wasn't Miss Qian here to see me? Or does Miss Qian just want to look at my face? Qian Zhao steadied herself. In a low voice she said, "What happened before was my fault. I've thought it through now. Here's 30 taels of silver. I'll redeem you first." Is my hearing failing me? Miss Qian is actually willing to spend 30 taels to redeem me? As he spoke, Tu Shenfei Chang slowly walked toward Qian Zhao. Qian Zhao watched Tu Shenfei Chang approach step by step. She couldn't help but retreat. But after only a few steps, her back hit the wall, nowhere left to go. Seeing no escape, Qian Zhao hurriedly opened her money pouch. There are 30 taels of silver inside this. I really came to redeem you. Tu Shenfei stared at the silver in front of him. The mocking words Qian Zhao had hurled at him echoed incessantly in his ears. Tu Shenfei, without your tail, you're just trash. A cripple like you might as well become a male puppet at Nanfang Tower. Then, he knocked the money pouch out of Chanzio's hand and immediately seized him by the throat. What trick are you trying to pull now, Qian Zhao? You really think I'm some pushover, Tu Shenfei? Calm down. If you kill me, you'll never get your revenge. Hearing this, Tu Shenfei regained a sliver of reason and slowly loosened his grip. Qian Zhao, drained of strength, collapsed onto the ground. Coughing violently, he could feel. Just now, Tu Shenfei was genuinely about to kill him. Meanwhile, Tu Shenfei stood with his hands behind his back, looking down at him condescendingly. If this vile woman had been treated like this in the past, she would have surely gone mad. But now, why was she pretending to be all delicate and weak? If he had a choice, Qian Zhao would never bother with Tu Shenfei. But there was no way around it. The system's mission required him to win him over. Suppressing his emotions, he explained, I know. I've done many wrong things in the past. I've realized my mistakes. I've turned over a new leaf now. If you don't believe me, you can ask Hanjin and Qianler. Tu Shenfei snorted coldly. Old habits die hard. If you could change, that'd be like a knife cutting a fart, utterly absurd. With that, Tu Shenfei walked away, scrubbing his hands vigorously in a basin of water, as if he'd touched something filthy. Qian Zhao nearly coughed up blood in anger. You damn man. I genuinely wanted to redeem you. These 30 taels of silver were earned by me setting up a stall. 30 taels isn't enough? There's interest too? Now it's 50 taels. Hearing this, Qian Zhao was completely stunned. 50 taels? Why not just rob me? Tu Shenfei looked at him, wilted like frostbitten eggplant, and curled his lips softly. So, Miss Qian thinks I'm not worth spending so much silver to redeem. Of course not. 50 taels it is then. But since I don't have enough for now, Qian Zhao, I don't want to stay with Tu Shenfei any longer. Picking up the money pouch that had fallen to the ground, he dashed outside in a flash, only to reach the door and find it tightly locked just as he tried to open it and leave. Tu Shenfei stepped forward, placing a hand directly on the door. At that moment, Qiana could even detect a faint, intoxicating fragrance, hazy, alluring, and carrying a hint of aggression. That Tu Shenfei, no need to go to such trouble. I can open the door myself. Has Miss Qian started fearing me now? How amusing. If it were before, she would have seized the chance to cling to me. Yet now, she can't seem to put enough distance between us. The more she acted like this, the more Tu Shenfei wanted to tease her. Testing me, Miss Qian wanted to buy me back. Was it for Tu Shen's services? As he spoke, his fingers already toyed with the sash at his waist, as if ready to undo it at any moment. Qiana's pupils shrank violently, cursing inwardly. Demon, stay away. No, no, no. Rest assured. She lifted her head, gazing at Tu Shenfei with unusually resolute eyes. Their eyes met instantly. Tu Shenfei hadn't expected her gaze to be so clear now. Not a single trace of ulterior thoughts. Such eyes weren't the least bit repulsive. Before, He wouldn't have even spared her a glance. Miss Keon used to long for my touch. Or do you disdain me for having stayed at Nanfang Tower? Why bother coming to redeem me? Tu Shan let out an extremely lazy sigh, as if putting on an extremely sorrowful expression. Qian Zhao smiled faintly at his exaggerated act. Gritting his teeth, he said, I'm not the one disgusted, it's you disgusted with me. Isn't this just to avoid dirtying your hands? So you wouldn't have to go through the trouble of washing them. Tu Shan smiled with utter nonchalance. Now you've finally gained some self-awareness. The test is over. Without further tormenting him, he pressed a mechanism, opening the door for him. Qian Zhao was surprised. This room actually has a hidden mechanism? But how would a male model know how to operate it? For a moment, he couldn't make sense of it, but he didn't dwell on it, slipping away quickly after exiting the second floor. When Hanjin saw the red marks on Qian Zhao's neck, his expression instantly darkened. What's going on? Did he lay hands on you? I'm going to find him right now. Qiana grabbed Hanjin's arm to stop him. Don't go looking for him. I'm fine. Let's buy some glutinous rice and head home early. He didn't want to waste time on Mountu's trivial matters. Tianler, standing nearby, sighed softly. Wife, does it hurt a lot? Hearing this, Qiana felt a faint stir in his heart. Ever since transmigrating here, he had been living on edge, pushing himself hard. This was the first time someone asked if he was in pain. His nose tingled, and his eyes reddened instantly. It's all right. I'm fine now. Don't worry. Hanjin stepped forward, gently smoothing her disheveled hair. Wife, let's go to the clinic first. Qiana waved his hand in refusal, because medical consultations here were expensive, and the ointments from the Space Mall had better healing effects. Seeing Qiana's insistence, Hanjin and Qianler could only comply. The three bought soybeans, glutinous rice, and pork, then headed home. Passing by the road lined with locust trees, they saw villagers picking locust flowers. Everyone expressed their gratitude to Qiana. Spring brings fewer vegetables, so the locust flowers help vary our meals. Qiana was surprised he hadn't done much. Yet everyone remembered even this small kindness. After returning home, Hanjin hurriedly used a cold, wet towel. Applying medicine to Qiana's neck, Qiana sat. She could faintly catch the pleasant scent emanating from Hanjin. Like cedarwood, her beauty was already poetic and breathtaking. Viewed up close, it delivered an overwhelming visual impact to Qiana. She turned her head slightly, avoiding looking at him, lest she lose control and make a mistake. But unexpectedly, Hanjin placed a hand behind her head and gently turned it back. Don't move around. This left Qiana's face flushed red. The pain inside feels much better now. No need to apply anything. Let's eat first. Hanjin assumed she was hungry and softly agreed. After lunch, Qiana was about to clear the dishes, but Hanjin naturally took over. Wife, you're injured. Let me handle it. Qiana felt a little embarrassed. Honestly, I'm not that delicate. Wife, you're allowed to be a little delicate. Some things can be left to us. Qiana couldn't help but feel moved inside. They were willing to care for her without holding past grudges, which deeply touched her heart. She sincerely thanked them. Don't blame yourself, wife. Go rest first. After cleaning up, I'll prepare the fabric. Qianler wiped the table as she spoke. I'll make konjac later. It's fine. I feel much better now. Then I'll start on the peach blossom wine. With that, she placed glutinous rice layered with peach blossoms into a clay pot to steam. Then, he exchanged for some sweet wine fermentation starter in the Space Mall. After some effort, Qiana sealed the earthen jar. Now, it just needed a few days of fermentation, and the peach blossom wine would be ready. After finishing all this, Qiana carried a basket on his back and prepared to go up the mountain. He planned to gather some items the mall accepted, sell them for points, and buy weight loss pills. Qianler heard the noise and hurriedly asked, Landlord, are you going to the mountain? Let me accompany you, wife. He remembered that his wife was not only afraid of snakes, but also some insects, which made him a little worried. It's fine. I'll go alone today. Don't worry, I'll just stay around the outskirts. With that, Chiana left for the mountain. Though he said he'd only wander near the edges, before he knew it, he had ventured deep into the forest. Just then, the system's excited voice rang out. Host, there's wild lingsy mushroom ahead. It's worth at least a few thousand points. Hearing the system's words, Kiana's eyes lit up. He quickly went forward to harvest it. Congratulations, host. Sales successful. 2,200 points obtained. The points instantly appeared in his mall account. Chiana immediately bought weight loss pills. However, losing too much weight at once would raise suspicion. So he spent 1,000 points on 10 pounds worth of weight loss pills. After taking them, he moved around a bit and felt much lighter. Next, Chiana continued searching for rare wild herbs. After who knows how long, gradually, thunder rumbled in the sky. Chiana realized it was about to rain heavily. He quickly packed up and headed back. Perhaps walking too fast, he tripped over something. His whole body lurched forward, and he fell to the ground in an instant. He felt as if his foot had twisted. The pain was intense, and with a frown, he glanced back. In that moment, he saw an extraordinarily handsome man in purple robes, injured and unconscious on the ground.